The goal of tonight is to measure progress and not measure ourselves against perfection or what our idea of perfection is. So as we start to get a little bit upside down, maybe, play with inversions and getting on our hands, I think it's really important not to think so much about whether or not you can get up, but instead start to just feel what it's like to put things on the other side, like how to flip things and start to feel that stacking, and just know that it's different and it's uncomfortable, and how you initially react to that on your mat and then potentially outside of your mat space in your protected house. So we're going to come to a seat to start in Vrksasana. Pull back this hair. Whew. So Vrksasana, to open up the outside of our hips and start to build a little bit of heat. Move these tiny pairs of shoes out of the way. So nice. I feel like we're finally starting to see daylight a little bit later, so a little bit change of scenery. I'm going to keep the door open tonight. All right, so start with bringing your right foot across, and you want the shin to be parallel with the front of your mat, foot flexed, and then you're going to take the left leg over top. You want to make sure that the outside edge of that foot is actually over your knee, and as this top knee starts to come down, the outside of the knee starts to line up with the inside of your bottom ankle. So as you can see for me right now, they're pretty distant from each other, but as we sit here, they might start to lower. I did this pose this morning with some people, and it was so funny because, a lot of them were seated like this. So the inside, or the top foot rather, was sickled. The top of their foot was really more on the knee crease, and that's not going to give you that deep stretch on the outside of your hip. So if you really want to feel this and you want to start to get into your hips, make sure that you're taking this top leg and bringing it all the way over top. So again, the outside edge drops off, hangs off over the side of the knee. The outside of your ankle is resting on the inside of your knee, and both shins are forward enough that they start to stack. Another option is to take a seated figure 4 with the bottom foot in front of you. Again, outside ankle above the knee, and then hands behind you to press slightly forward. Back a little bit more. Slightly wider view. There we go. And as you sit up nice and tall, notice you've moved into mouth breathing. Gently seal your lips. Maybe close your eyes. See if you can count the length of your breath, your inhale and exhale, and then add 1 count to the number that was your inhale and match it on your exhale. So if you were breathing in like 5 counts, try and make it 6 or maybe even 7 tonight, and match that for 7 count exhale. Keep your toes flexed back and try and root down evenly through both of your hip points. The one that's on the lifted leg side, that one's gonna want to lift a little bit. You need to make sure that you're evenly distributing your weight. And then in your pose, if there's room to go a little bit deeper, start to hinge forward. And if you're in the variation with your bottom foot planted, then try walking that heel in closer to your glute. Press down more through your hands to reach your chest closer to the inside of your shin. So you get a little bit closer, a little bit more compressed. The sensation will deepen in your outer hips. That my knee traveled down. Maybe yours also was just a little bit closer to that bottom foot. So again, going back to that idea that especially the first time or the beginning of a posture, it's not perfect, but you can start to see the progression over time as you return back to a shape, as you put in practice. On your next inhale, slowly come up. Gently lift that top leg off. Extend both legs briefly. And then bring the top leg to the bottom now. So moving on to, if you were following me, it was the left leg now on the bottom. Shin parallel to the front of the mat, foot flexed. And then right leg over top. Setting up with the same amount of care. Maybe pulling the glute muscles back so you can feel both hip points rooting down. Sit up nice and tall. Pull your fingertips in so that they can help support length in your spine. An opening in your chest. Keep your toes flexed back and then let your eyes start to drift towards close. Shift into the sensation of the pose. Noticing your breath. If your mouth is creeped open, and gently guide it back to close. And take that same count that you were working on the first side, so maybe 7, and again add a count, so maybe pushing up to 8 or 9 count inhale and matching it to your exhale. So you can feel the air as you pull it in through your nose down to the very bottom, below your navel, gently filling up your lungs. And then slow exhale, starting with the top of your lungs and gently finding compression all the way down to your core. With your next exhale, start to fold forward, or if you're in the modification, bring that bottom foot closer to your hips. Press your chest to the inside of your shin. Breathing in and out through your nose. Inhale, slowly come back up. You're going to take this top leg and just send it out to the side. Move both feet in towards midline, coming into Vrksasana. Bring the soles of your feet together and then sit up nice and tall, holding onto ankles or shins. If you can, pull your heels in a little bit closer to your pelvis. Maybe rock a little bit from side to side and then find an evenness down through both hip points. Keeping your hand either gripping again onto ankles or shins, again pull your chest forward and through, and then exhale, start to hinge forward. Do your best to maintain a nice straight, long back, so you're pulling your chest to the inside of your feet rather than rounding, letting your forehead come down. Again, trying to get your chest to come right to the insides of your arches. Maybe you use your elbows to gently push your knees down, getting a little bit deeper of an opening. Inhale, slowly come back up. Bring your hands to the outside of your knees and gently bring them to close. And bringing your hands behind your knees, lift up one foot and then the other for Navasana, boat pose. Finding a balance on those hip points. See if you can draw your navel in. Take any rounding out of the middle of your back and instead reach your chest through again. Flex your toes back towards you. So see if you can spread them wide. Lift your chest. Stay here, or you can work to straighten your leg. Gazing at your toes. Either keeping your hands as a guide to lift your chest through, or maybe arms can reach out to either side. Again, pull your chest through. And if you feel like you start to lose some of the structure of the pose when you release your hands, come back a step and maybe just move out for a breath and then come back. Also, if you start to feel any pressure in your low back, turn it down a notch. Come back, tap, pull your chest back up. All right, now you're going to take your left foot over your right and come to a seat. Find your blocks or your props and bring them down by your side. So we're going to work into low lasana, which is a really big core exercise. And again, there's a lot of different levels of this pose. So we're not going for perfection. We're not going for getting it just right the first time, but instead feeling our core, tapping into that area and noticing progression. And if you've been joining this class for a long time over the COVID pandemic, then maybe you remember we did this probably about a year ago. So potentially all the core work you've been doing has been paying off. All right. So legs are crossed at the ankles, blocks down by your side, or if you're building up your tower of props, do that about 6 inches. You can always get it a little bit higher if you want to, but I think 6 inches is a good place to start. You're going to press down into the blocks and lift your booty up off of the ground. We're going to start with just that, lifting up. From there, maybe pull your knees in and bring your feet to hover. Lower heels down, lower your booty back down to the earth. Take the opposite ankle on top. Inhale, gaze forward, nice straight spine. Exhale, press your hands down into the blocks with just your booty up. Try and keep a nice straight spine still. Draw your navel in and lift your heels up. Lower heels down, lower booty down. Extend both of your legs long. If you need to have a little bend underneath your knees, inhale, arms up. And then exhale, find a nice forward fold. Relax your forehead down. You can lift your spine round, just hang over your legs like a rag doll. Inhale, exhale. One more time, breath in and out. Really come back up. So you can choose to add on, maybe adjust the heights of your blocks higher or lower. And if you're choosing to add on, you might want them a little bit wider than hips. So front view, my blocks are about a fist distance on either side of my hips. Press hands down into the blocks, left leg over the right. Inhale, lift your heels up, swing, tap toes behind you, swing, Heels down, lower your glutes down. Switch the cross of your legs. Right leg on top of left. Press your hands down, lift your booty up. Inhale, exhale, lift your heels up. Swing, tap toes behind you. Forward, extend, down. Straighten your legs, move the blocks out to the side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Find whatever you can grab hold of. Pull your chest forward. So again, straight back and then round, release. Your breath in and out. Inhale and exhale. Last time, deep breath in and out. Really come back up. Pull your blocks back in. Right on either side of your hip. Press the blocks down into the blocks, left over right. Pull your knees up and in, hang, shoot back, and come back into a plank pose. Inhale, exhale, push into the blocks, draw your knees forward, maybe swing, and then lower down. So just having a little bit of play. Again, you can just lift up, maybe just tap toes, or try the swinging through. Cross right leg over left, press hands down, lift hips up, lift your heels up, inhale. Exhale, swing, push back, step back into a plank. Hold the plank, push into the blocks, lean a little bit forward, swing through, legs through, lower down. We're gonna do that one more time each side without the Dandasana respite. So again, inhale up, exhale, heels lift, pull back, step back, plank, and then pull back through, lower, switch the cross, inhale, press up, swing through, step back, inhale, swing through, legs through, and release. Take the blocks, move them off to the side. I don't think we'll need them just yet. And then bring your legs to one side. We'll move into dolphin pose. Whew, feeling that core. Lower down both forearms. Grab opposite biceps. And then bring your hands back forward. If you'd like to, and we've done this in the past, you can use your blocks to make an L with thumb and pointer finger and wrap that around the bottom base of the block. Otherwise, spread your fingers wide. Keep your elbows rooted down. Move your gaze back to your knees and press up. Pressing your forearms down. Reach your chest through. Inhale, walk your feet a little bit closer. Bend your knees a little bit and then let your heels start to drop down. Take a deep breath into your upper back and exhale. Feel across the top of your back expand. Take another deep breath in. And then exhale, lower both knees down. Come up into all fours. Inhale, pull your chest forward, cat pose or cow pose. And then exhale, drop your chin into your chest, cat pose. Chakra Vrksasana, also known as. Start to make it a little bit more fluid. Inhale, gaze up, drop your belly down. And then exhale, crawl. Rolling out the spine, feeling that ripple of a wave as you find spinal extension here and spinal flexion, chin in towards your chest. Continue with your breath. We're going to go back into one more round of dolphin pose. Now, what I'd like you to work on for this next round of dolphin is not so much the hold, but instead seeing how close you can get your toes into this forward fold shape. So toes towards the back of your triceps or back of your elbows. And as you start to walk your toes forward to your edge tonight, I want you to start to notice the amount of work that has to go into your forearms and your palms to keep pushing your chest back. Notice how it starts to feel when your hips get a little bit closer to stacking over your elbows and shoulders. All right, so come back down, set up the same way. Grab biceps. So elbows are just underneath your shoulders, and then forearms forward running parallel. You can still use that block if you like it. Press your palms down, gaze back to your knees, tuck your toes, lift your hips up. Press into your forearms, reach your chest back so your ears get a little bit closer to the inside of your bicep. Inhale, walk your toes in. Bend your knees, exhale, push forearms down. Now we haven't done a lot to open up the hamstrings yet, so your feet can be wide as your mat if that helps you get a little bit closer. Inhale, walk your toes in, and then exhale, push into your hands. Keep your right foot grounded. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Push more into your hands. Find a balance and really reach through that left foot. Start to feel a little bit of stack as you rock back to your heel and then lift onto right tippy toes. Lower left leg down. Bring both knees down and wide. Big toes together to touch. Find child's pose. Let it be an active child pose. Arms long, elbows lifted. Stretch your torso. Use the weight of your glutes to anchor the base of your spine and reach longer with your fingers forward. Come back to your breath. Notice if there's any anger or disappointment that you have for maybe not getting as compressed as you wanted to, for not getting to what your idea of perfection was tonight in that last posture. Maybe an ab. Notice if your body is starting to feel fatigue, if you're starting to feel the effects of the posture on your body. Notice if you're starting to feel the progress. Do you have to reach perfection? Is what you're thinking perfection is just unattainable? And instead, how can we find a balance? Slowly pull your forearms back in. Bring your knees back in under your hips. Measure biceps, taking a good grip. And then bring your forearms back down, tuck your toes. Lift your hips high. Press down into your forearms, spread your fingers, let them start to be a base. Inhale, lift hips high. Exhale, walk your toes in. Let your heels drop down. Again, get to that edge where you feel the work that has to happen in the upper body to keep pressing the weight back into your feet. To find a balance between forearms and toes to keep you up. Inhale, walk yourself into that edge. Exhale, heels back, hold. Keep your left foot grounded, lift your right leg straight up. Was your left leg super strong when you lifted it last round? See if you can activate more and reach through your right toes. Notice that starts to help keep you lifted. Inhale, rock to big toes on the left side. Exhale, let your heel come down towards the ground. Keep reaching and spinning the inside of your thigh up. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Last time. Inhale, lift to toes. Exhale, right leg down, knees wide, child's pose. Whew. Let your forehead come down to the mat. Stretch your arms wide and long forward. Maybe even coming to tense your fingers for a little deeper stretch in your shoulders. Can you rebalance? Use your breath. Return to that equalized state. Relax your hands down. Slowly come up into all fours. And we're going to take our blocks, have them somewhere near the front of your mat to frame. Plant your hands down, tuck your toes, and then lift up into a down dog. It can be a little bit short. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Keep your hips square. Exhale, come forward. Left thigh to left ribs and rock forward. Shoulders over ankles. Inhale, lift the left leg back high. Exhale, tap the left toes down right where your foot would be in down dog. Inhale, left leg reaches up. Thigh to ribs, rock forward. Inhale, extend your left leg up. Exhale, tap left foot down. So this helps us maintain even square hips. Inhale, left leg high. Thigh to ribs, come forward. And this time, plant your left foot at the front of your mat. Tense your fingertips and reach your chest forward. Start to reach your fingertips forward, grounding down to your feet. And then inhale, let them guide you up into a high lunge. Fingertips straight up. Bring your right hip a little bit more forward so your hips are square. And then press more through that back heel. Up, up. Toes active, right leg active. Bend a little bit deeper into your left knee. Inhale. Exhale. See if you can lower your hips. Inhale, press your left leg towards straight. Try your best not to lock it out. Exhale, sweep your arms back behind you. Lower your torso down halfway. So pyramid pose with airplane arms. Your gaze should be right down at that left big toe. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, get deep in your lunge, strong back leg. Inhale, press to straight. Feel the strength in your legs. Exhale, airplane arms, gaze at that front toe. Try not to lock out your left knee. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, high lunge, a low high lunge. Last time, inhale, press your legs straight. Exhale, airplane arms. Draw your left hip back, right hip forward. Gaze straight down at those big toes. And then lower your hands down either to the floor or pull in your blocks. Press your hands down into your blocks. Pull the left hip back. Pyramid pose. Holding here, keeping your gaze down at those big toes. If your thigh again meets your left ribs, Start to really tune into the expansion that translates through the ribs from your breath. Feel that expansion down into your hamstring. Maybe close your eyes, let your chin drop into your chest. Keep your legs strong. Keep pulling back and higher that left hip. Draw your right hip down. And start to bend your front left knee. Walk your hands forward. You can be using the blocks. Start to move more of the weight into the left foot. Draw your right foot in and then pull the right knee in behind the left. Hands down on the ground or on the blocks. Inhale, press your left leg to straight. Reach your right leg long. Supported warrior 3. Exhale. Bring the right knee behind the left. Bend both knees, crouch down. Inhale, expand. Straighten both legs. Exhale, curl in. Round even in your shoulders, bend your elbows. Inhale, press straight and long and hold. Maybe pull your blocks up onto a little bit higher of a height, or you can challenge yourself to pull your palms up to heart center. Keep pressing strongly through that left leg. Draw your right hip down. Think about the inside of your thigh rotating up towards the ceiling. Core is engaged. And then exhale, step back. Reach both arms up. Inhale, open to the sides, straighten both legs. Exhale, hands down to the side, down to your hips. Take a wide leg forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Take your blocks and move them to the back of your mat. Pivot around. So now your right foot is down. Plant your hands down. Lift the right leg high. Down dog, facing the back of your mat. Right thigh to right ribs. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, hold. Pull your thigh up into your right ribs. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Three-legged down dog. Exhale, right toes tap down to where they would be in down dog. Inhale, strong right leg up. Bend your knee. Side ribs come forward. Exhale. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, tap the right toes down. Keep your hips square. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Side ribs. Exhale, come forward. Hold here. Plant your right foot down. Tense your fingertips and pull your chest through. So high lunge, but hands down to start. I kind of like to call this like a dart lunge. And then press more through your right foot. Reach your arms forward and then let them guide your torso up to perpendicular. Gaze is directly forward. Draw your navel in. Reach your fingertips straight up. Press actively through those back left toes. Lift your heel higher and then bend into your right knee. High lunge. Inhale, slowly straighten your right leg without locking it out. Exhale, sweep your arms back behind you. Lower your torso down to parallel with the floor. Gaze is directly down at those big toes. Well, one big toe. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, press. Exhale, sweep your arms back. Inhale up. Exhale, lunge. Last time, inhale up. Exhale, arms back. Hold. Draw your navel up and in. Let your core help you stabilize here. And then lower your hands down. Either finding your blocks or finding the mat. You know, I step that back leg in a little bit, especially if you're getting hot and your pyramid is real long, wide pyramid. Use your blocks to support you. Start to focus more on that right hamstring, the back of the right leg. Pull the right hip up and back, left hip forward. Doing your best not to lock out. Don't let any wrinkles come across the front of that right knee. Maybe let your chin drop in towards your chest. And if you have that connection, right thighs to right rib again, really work to feel how the expansion of your lungs can radiate through into the back of that right leg. Slowly start to bend your right knee. Walk your hands forward, move more of the weight. Drag your left toe in. Find supported warrior 3. Pressing into the blocks. Lift chest up. Reach through that left leg. Then bend your right knee, bend your left. Squat down, trying to bring that knee pretty close to the back of the right. Inhale, press, straighten. Really active, strong legs, even the lifted one. Notice if you let it kind of get a little lazy, how much weight starts to compound into your standing right leg. Press more through your left leg. Exhale, left knee behind right. Squat down. And inhale, press. Exhale, draw in, round. Last time, inhale up and then hold. Decide if you want to stay with the supported blocks, maybe pulling hands up into heart center. See if you can lift more up through the right side. Lower the left side so your toes are square, hips are square. Then bend, step back. Inhale, high lunge. Straighten both legs, pivot, open to the side. Hands to your hips. Exhale, fold. This time, moving a little bit side to side. Bend one knee, moving into Skandasana. And then transition through center, Skandasana, the second side. All right. Come back to center. Heel toe your feet in. Bend your knees a little bit. Bring your hands to your hips and slowly roll up. All right, so we're going to work into our handstanding-ish portion of the night. So the first pose that we're going to do is called L handstand at the wall. If your wrists are starting to bother you, you can definitely take this down on your forearms, just like we did in dolphin. Have a wall. If you have a door like this that has a little ledge, it might be easier, but you really want some surface that you don't mind your feet being on. The key to this pose, which is counterintuitive, is that you don't want your, let me just see, so I might demo from the side here. Move bike helmets out of the way. The key to this pose and to getting the strength in your arms and finding that stacking is to not have your hands too far away. So I'm going to show you how we set up, and I want you to see the visuals of common mistakes that happen in this pose, and then we'll do it all together. So knees and hips stack, feet up against the bottom of your wall, and hands are directly underneath your shoulders. So use the measurements of your body. All right, then from there, you'll lift up into a very short down dog. You'll raise one leg up, the height of your hips. So you can kind of bring heel to glute and then foot in, press, and bring both feet up to that height. Hands ground down, knees are bent to start, and then start to actively press. Now this is where things get scary, because as you press and your hips start to stack over your shoulders, it feels like you might go over. You did that measurement, and so everything will actually start to align. Now, one thing that happens is we either set up with our hands too forward, or when we're up here, it's like, oh God, no. And you bring your hands forward. But as you can see, things are not stacking. There's a real big sway in my low back, and I'm not getting any better at aligning everything for handstand. The other thing that happens, even if you keep your hands where they are, is once you get to this spot, it's like, oh, this feels scary, and you walk your feet higher. Again, kind of like I'm doing a handstand at the angle, and you'll actually bring way more weight into the heels of your hands versus distributing between hands and fingers. If you're gonna do this on your forearm, just like in dolphin, same. You'll just bring elbows down underneath your shoulders and set up shoulder width distance apart. Okay, so now all together, we're going to line up, back yourself up to your wall, feet against the bottom, toes tucked. Walk your hands back so they're directly underneath your shoulders, cat-cow-like position. Spread your fingers. Start to lift your knees coming into that very tight down dog. Kind of familiar as that dolphin pose was, right? When we walked it in really tight. All right, from here, bend your knees, bring up one foot, look behind you, and you can see what's hip height. This is a very slippery door. I just painted it with high gloss white paint. So trust me, I'm not cheating with my wall selection. You're gonna press enough to get that second leg up. All right, right here, when both feet are up and your legs are not straight yet, you feel that weight either compounding down into the heel of your hands or your elbows. Now start to straighten your legs. Feel more of the weight move into your fingertips. Press through your hands. Start to feel hips, shoulders, line up. Maybe bring one leg straight up. That one leg up will actually make the pose a little bit easier as more of the weight starts to line up over your hands. Slowly come down whenever you're ready. Untuck your toes and sit back. Hands on top of your thigh. Whew, that was some work, right? It probably did not look perfect. But you can start to feel a little bit of invigoration from reversing the natural flow of the blood. So that is the benefits of the inversion. Maybe start to feel the progress of those long hamstring holds and how good it felt to get off of our feet after those one leg standing postures. All right. Slowly come up. You're still going to be using the wall. And we're going to do a little shoulder stretch. So, for this posture, you're going to stand perpendicular to the wall. So your shoulder is up against the wall. Step whatever foot is outside of the wall forward, and then the back foot angled in towards the wall. So we have a warrior one stance. Take the arm that is towards the wall and place it on the wall, hand height of your shoulder. So this arm is parallel. The leg that's to the outside, bring it to the middle of your chest. Start to lunge deeply in that front knee. So warrior one, hips are square, and then use the hand on your chest to gently open your chest. The more you come forward, the deeper the opening in your shoulder. Think about all of that tension that can start to build up around your neck and trapezius. Inhale, exhale, lunge, gently tug with your hand, pulling the skin of your chest tight, and feel that weight, that tension drain down. And inhale and exhale. Inhale, slowly press the front leg to straight. You'll just pivot your toes towards the wall and then pivot your toes to the other side. You want your legs to be essentially like they're running on parallel train tracks. Lunge into now the opposite leg that is farther away from the wall. Hand back behind you. Again, keeping that arm parallel with the ground. So hand shoulder level. And then other hand to the middle of your chest. Inhale. Exhale, lunge deeply forward. Toes out to the side. Starting to feel gentle pulling from the front of that inside deltoid across to the middle of your chest, right to your heart. Like you're pulling on your heartstrings, opening up. Inhale and exhale. With each exhale, again feeling the weight that we carry around on the top of our shoulders and spine, and feeling it just drop down into our feet. And letting it dissolve and dissipate. Inhale, slowly push both legs to straight. Release that hand. And we're going to come back to the wall for a second round of practicing. And remember, progress, slow progress. Either your L handstand again. So that's a really big strengthening pose. Right, so you're working on pressing through, but without that added complexity of balance and the fear of really falling. If you'd like to work on kicking up, we'll kick up towards the wall. So if you're going to go back to the L handstand, set yourself up in all fours. Try and work on maybe lifting one leg, bringing it down, and then lifting another leg. If you want to work on kicking up against the wall, here is what we're going to do. You're going to place your hands Good. I was like, is this console table going to be in the way? But I think we're good. You're going to place your hands about 2 handprints away from the wall, or approximately 1 foot. Press hands down. You want your hands to be shoulder width apart. So that means middle of your palm lines up with shoulder. So pinkies are a little bit wider. Tuck your toes and lift up into your shortened down dog. From here, I want you to lift one leg, just like we were doing in our warrior 3. Now, if you have kind of a limp leg, it is going to be almost impossible to kick up. You keep that leg super straight, so the lifted leg is straight. Your bounce is going to come from the grounded leg. But notice as I bend and lift, the other leg remains straight and strong. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you want to start with your hips as close as you can get them to over your shoulders. If you start from a regular down dog, it is very hard to kick all the way up. If you start closer, it's not so much of a distance. So gaze is down, inhale, lifted leg is super strong, bend the grounded, and then exhale, pull with your lifted heel. So that heel that's lifted, see if that can be like your magnet to the wall and the other leg follows. And maybe you don't get to the wall. Maybe this bottom leg barely makes it off the ground, but you start to feel your weight moving into your palms. If you can get both legs up to the wall, press more through your hands. Heels start to travel up, and then draw your ribs a little bit closer to your hip point. So you're taking out that big sway in your low back. Remember to breathe. Slowly come down. When you come down, if you need to take a break, stay seated. If you'd like to move straight into the other side, and walk yourself in. Imagine it like a ritual, slowly setting up, using your breath, and not skipping any steps. Not rushing into the kick-ups, but instead letting it be a preparation. Lift the other leg, bend, inhale. Exhale all of the air out. Bend your bottom leg, and then again, heel is like a magnet, bottom leg follows. Press your hands down. Continue to breathe. And when you're ready, slow one foot down and then the other, and both knees down. Sit back on your heels. Wherever you are, come to join us. Hand rooted down on top of your thighs. So as we, in life, practice one foot in front of the other, the goal is not to make it to the end, not to rush to the end. The goal is to learn how to walk. And your walk does not have to look like anyone else's. Probably does not look like anything you've ever seen before, nor will ever see again. Your walk is uniquely yours. Therefore, the idea of a pose or our bodies or our life being a picture perfect example does not exist. Instead, it is a balance. And balance is not easy. Just like trying to suddenly balance on your hands after walking on your feet for however many years you've been on this earth. It takes awareness and attention and constantly shifting, resituating, refinding what is perfect and balanced for you right now. And slowly let your hands drop to your side. Come down onto your hips. We're going to use the wall for our final Shavasana for legs up the wall. Sit as close as you can to the wall and lie back. Then pivot so your glutes are up against the wall, legs up. If you have a block tonight that is a little bit cushioned, so maybe not encyclopedias, you can lift up, and you could also place a block directly underneath your hips so that where your spine starts is just slightly elevated and drops down. Let your arms drop down by your side. Start to feel the weight of your legs drop down into the block or into the floor. Inhale and exhale. Feel that weight roll down your arms and off your fingertips. Noticing that the heaviness of our body is not something that we always have to hold by ourselves. Instead, it can be supported by the earth beneath you. So feel that support, the ground beneath you, the wall at your glutes and at your heels, helping to hold you up. Feel that the energy start to drop down into the hips, into the shoulders. Letting that weight of trying to be picture perfect slide off of your skin and roll away. Your walk is uniquely your own style, your own dance. And your progress in yoga, in life, in spirituality, and whatever you're working towards, your career, is that putting in hard work day after day, time after time, letting it slowly build and slowly shape you. On your next exhale, let your knees drop down, feet down the wall, knees into your chest. And slowly roll to one side, being careful as you roll off any props that you may have used. Slide them off to the side. Come into a fetal position, feet against the wall. Slowly roll forward. slide your legs around and then push yourself again back up against that wall. Let the wall be your support. Comfortable seated position. Bring your hands together to heart center. Grow tall. I'm proud of what you have accomplished tonight in the last 60 minutes. Proud of your body for the work that it did. Proud of your mind for overcoming obstacles that potentially your thoughts, your ego put there. Breathing through, finding the will to stay and to challenge yourself. And then finally proud for the wisdom that you have gleaned from that experience. Slowly draw your thumbs to third eye center. Be curious. Follow your bliss. Namaste.